This video is going to look at some of the more advanced features of Google Slides. Google Slides has a lot of really basic features built in to be able to create great slideshows and presentations, but using some of these advanced features will really drive home great instructional practices or really engage audiences as you're presenting. So one of the things I wanted to share with you again is that we have some basic layouts and themes. Under themes, if you wanted to import themes, so you had maybe a program-wide theme that you wanted, maybe you downloaded something from an external website like Slide Carnival, you can import those themes right here to really make your look very fancy as you go through and you're creating those themes. The themes are nice because they include formatting within your fonts, within your color schemes, things like that, how your slides are laid out. It's a nice way to kind of have a cohesive look. The first skill I wanted to show you was embedding video. So if you're choosing to use Google Slides as an instructional tool, you may have an instructional video that you wanted to include. Maybe it's a screencast of you doing something. Maybe it's a video you found on YouTube or another website. The way in which you would embed video is clicking the Insert button and coming down to Video. From here, you'd be able to search a keyword or fact, and you can scroll through and look at the different videos that are here that meet that criteria. You can paste in a specific URL from YouTube, or you can locate anything within your Google Drive. Again, it could be your drive, shared drives, things that are shared with you, or just recent files looking at chronological order. You can also search within your drive if you know you have a specific video. I'm going to go back here to my YouTube. And just choose this first one for the sake of the video. When it comes in, you can add it wherever you want within your slide. One of the nice things is that it has some format options. This menu here is also going to be able to be found right here under Format Options up in the middle of your toolbar. You can decide when you want your video to start. Do you want to click it and have the play button in the middle? Do you want it to play automatically as soon as you come to the slide that you're on? So if you have students going slide to slide in terms of a self-paced instruction, you might have it automatically start for them so they don't have to click anything else, or you can manually start it by again choosing the play button down at the bottom. The click feature would be if you're using a clicker or another external way to change from slide to slide. Manual would be if you're actually on your computer and you'd be able to click directly where the play button is. You can also trim your video. So if you found a 12-minute video on YouTube, but you only want to show students minutes 2 through 4, you can choose a start time and an end time to clip that video down. You can also choose to mute the audio depending on the type of video that you have. You can also toggle the size and rotation where it is located on your slide, and then if you wanted to add any kind of drop shadows or change the way in which your video visually appears, the transparency, things like that. Again, that menu that was here is also located up under Format Options. The next couple tools I wanted to show you are in the Presentation Tools section. So when you're ready to present, most likely you'll just click the Present button, but if you click the down arrow and click the Presenter view, you also have a couple other tools. So here you have your timer, you can pause it, reset it, things like that. You can toggle between your slides, you have your thumbnails of what you just were at, what you are going to next. If you took notes under any of the slides, those would be under your speaker notes. And then Audience Tools is the kind of one that is going to really engage people into your presentation. So I'm going to start a new Q&A with the people that are watching this presentation. So if I were presenting it on a large screen, or if I were presenting it via screen share on a Zoom or Google Meet, I'd be able to share this link here. I can toggle when I want to allow people to participate. So maybe I want them to participate for a certain portion of my presentation. I can toggle it on and off here. So what I would do is give participants this link. This link will take people to kind of just a blank area where they can type in questions. I can either choose to ask as myself or ask anonymously. So something to be aware of if you're having students answer a question and you do want to keep track for formative assessment wise, you'd want to have them keep it as their name as opposed to anonymous, just so you can kind of keep track of where you're at. There's really no way to moderate this, so if you're concerned about behavior or anything like that, you may not want to use this feature. When I click submit, it's going to pop up underneath. Everybody who is looking at this Q&A session would be able to see that question, whether it's by participant or anonymous. They can then vote or downvote. So this could also be used in a way to use it for true or false, or do you agree, disagree as you're engaging students. So as an instructor, I could stop and ask a question and then ask students to agree or disagree, or however you want to use that. As the presenter, I'm going to come back here into my presentation tools, and most likely you're not going to be toggling between all of these tabs, but I come into my presentation tools and I can then see these questions, and these questions would populate as students or participants came in and would look at those. I'd also be able to see the current vote of agree or disagree. I can also then stop my presentation that I'm giving, and I can project the questions that are being asked. So think as you're maybe giving a synchronous instruction, you stop, you ask your students a question, then they, they answer a question or whatever, and you're projecting those right here. So I can then go back and hide, and I'm back to my original presentation. Some other interesting presentation tools here are I can jump to those Q&A that I was just on. That's just going to pop out that same window. I can look at my speaker notes. Again, that's going to pop out that same exact window. It's just another shortcut to get there. You also have a pointer view, which is just going to be basically a fancy laser pointer, but it is cool if you are presenting. Closed captioning is an interesting feature. It will use the microphone in your computer to use speech to text to get your closed captioning. So if I go ahead and turn closed captioning on, it's going to do its best to capture exactly what I'm saying in real time for my participants. If I were sharing my screen, all of these things would be on my screen as well. It's not going to be 100% perfect, as we know all dictation tools aren't, but it is a great feature if you wanted to allow all kinds of learners to be able to access your instruction. If you ever want any additional tips, you've got the tips button here. It'll pop out some different ways in which you can use shortcuts, how you get your videos to play, how you can fast forward, things like that. I am using a Mac for this video, so my shortcuts are going to look a little different than maybe on a PC. You can bring into like a condensed version. You can also look at your settings if you needed to do that. You can print these, you can download them as a PDF directly from here, or my exit button is going to bring me back out to my editing screen. If I wanted to create linked objects within my presentation, so for instance, if you are having students interact with your presentation, maybe I'm giving them a set of slides and each slide is going to give them maybe a task to do. Each of those tasks, once they complete it, they may click on something and I want them to maybe jump to a different slide. Maybe I really want to make it interactive. So a link could be an internal link, meaning it could link to a slide, or it could be an external link, meaning it links to anything that has a URL. So it could be a video, a website, anything within Google, your Google suite of tools. So a Google Doc, another Google slide, a Google form, whatever it may be. So The way in which you link something is by clicking it. You'll know that you've clicked it because you have your blue handlebars. And then you just click your link button. You'll see here that I can either link by pasting a link or searching for something, or I can link to a slide within the presentation. So if I link to a slide in the presentation, it's just going to pop out the different slides that I have, and I can then link it to the next slide, the previous slide, however I want it to be. Again, this could be an internal link, an external link. Anything can be a link. So it could be an image, it could be a text box, it could be a shape that you have in here. So any of the things that you can highlight and get a blue handlebar on, you can link. So again, you're clicking insert and link. The insert menu will also have the link button down here. The last advanced feature I'm going to show you today are adding animations and transitions. So when I click on the transition button here at the top, it's going to bring out the motion menu. So slide transition is going to be from slide to slide, how visually it's going to look as I'm presenting for my participants. So right now I have no transition, but you can do any of the transitions that they have in here. They're pretty basic, but they are nice if you're looking at just kind of making your presentation look a little fancier. You can choose to apply it to all slides. It's going to add the little kind of bouncing ball. You'll know that you now have a transition between each slide. An animation is going to allow you to animate a specific item within your slide. So anything, again, that can have a blue handlebar, whether it's an image, a text box, a chart, a line, a shape, whatever it might be, you can choose to add an animation to it. So when you click on your item and you click add animation, you're going to choose how you want to animate it, and then what is the action that is going to make the animation. So do I want to have to click either my space bar, my arrow key, a clicker button? I can do that. Or I can choose to have it animate after or with something that is a previous animation. So I already had an animation just because I was playing around earlier. So you could have it happen after that previous animation or with that previous animation if you wanted multiple things to happen at the same time. So if you wanted to check what that looks like, you would click the play button. You can watch that transition come through from slide to slide. I'm then going to click, and here comes my soccer ball, and I'm going to click again, and there comes my soccer ball again. The stop is just going to bring you out of kind of that sample mode, and then that's going to show you what your animations and transitions are going to look like.